streets are talking. You are now listening to The Box Out, tri-state area basketball talk at its best. And now your hosts, Kahlil Thomas and Jason Cordner. Let's get it.
Here on the One Podcast Network YouTube channel. My name is Kahlil Thomas. After a month off, we are finally back. Hopefully things are working. It's been a month, so it's been a little wonky today, just saying. So we took the time off for holidays, family, friends, kids, all that nonsense. So we're back, ready to get to work, ready to throw down and get it started. And we missed a lot. We've missed a lot since we've been gone. We missed a lot since we took some time off. We will get to the things that we missed during the month that we were off. But first, there was a big trade in the NBA. And obviously, we'll get to the Knicks trade a little bit later with OJ Anunoby. We'll get to that later on. But I think the trade that people have been talking about recently has been the Raptors-Pacers trade that included New Orleans. And Pascal Siakam finally being traded after months of rumors about him being traded, months of rumors about him. Is he getting traded? We don't know if he's getting traded. It possibly could happen. We don't really know. He finally got traded to, of all teams, the Pacers, which, you see the Pacers and you seem like they're going to go all in now. They had that really good showing in the in-season tournament. Had a terrible showing after the in-season tournament, but it seems like they're now kind of like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to go after. Siakam was a good piece to add. And if you look at what they gave up for Pascal Siakam, it wasn't a lot. They didn't give up a lot of anything for Pascal Siakam, really. They gave up, and I'll tell you the whole trade right now. The Raptors picked up Bruce Brown, Kira Lewis, Jordan Noah, 2 2024 first-round picks from the Pacers, and a conditional 2026 first-round pick from the Pacers, which those 2 first-round picks from the Pacers really don't mean much because they're going to be good. So those picks are not going to be lottery picks, high picks. They're not – the Pacers are like, we're going to be good for years. We got Halliburton. Benedict Mathurin starting to shoot a little better from the field. Not entirely great, but he's starting to shoot a little better. They add Pascal Siakam. The draft picks mean shit to them at this point. So that was fine. The Pacers get Pascal Siakam, a future second-round pick from the Pelicans. And then New Orleans allowed Indiana to match Siakam's salary without including the player. So the Pelicans, in being included in this trade, actually kind of lowers their luxury tax threshold and helps them in the future. They re-signed Zion, which I'm still terrible mistake. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, Mr. Styles P, what's going on? What up? Thanks for checking us out. Appreciate it. But this is a big trade, and Toronto seems to be going all in on the blowing it up. As I welcome to Jason Cordner. Jay, it's been a long time, bro. What's going on?
Not much, man. How's everything with you?
Good. First of all, I see you got the Apple headphones. I need those. I want those. That's my new. That's my next purchase.
It was a good. Actually, I did one them because of the in-season tournament. I had a great in-season tournament, betting wise.
not the Knicks or the Nets. Not the Knicks or the Nets or anything, but betting wise.
Betting wise, yeah.
I want to get to that in a second because I know we kind of missed some stuff since we've been gone. It's been a month, but I'm talking about the Siakam trade to start, and I want to talk to Toronto side first because it seems like they traded OG to the Knicks. They traded Siakam. They're saying, hey, we're gonna ride with Scotty Barnes. And this is Scotty Barnes' team. What do you think about what Toronto's doing going forward and this I guess rebuild that they're doing now?
I guess they're doing it in a nice young core so Scotty could build around RJ, aka Maple, Captain America, and then see what they're gonna do. They're probably gonna resign quickly. I think they're going to give him the bread because they need a point guard now. He fits that role over there. So it's a nice young nucleus. They're kind of rebuilding on the fly, but they do still have good pieces. And they still got some pieces coming in. I'm assuming Bruce Brown's probably going to get bought out. Or they might can you flip them? Can you flip them so soon? Probably not, right?
No, I think it's going to be like 60 days or something like that.
Yeah. So I definitely think he'll be on a playoff contender soon. So they'll get more assets coming in. I think they're doing the rebuild the right way and also accommodating the players that are left because everyone seems happy. From what I'm hearing, he might resign with the Pacers because the Pacers took a big gamble here because if he doesn't resign, this is a big hit for them. So, we'll see how that plays out. But I like what Toronto's doing on the rebuild, but yet still being competitive where I still think they're a fringe play-in team.
Well, I was saying too, the Pacers gave up 2 first-round picks in this year's draft, and I feel like their assumption is we're going to be good. So
we're going to be good. We're not a lottery team again.
Bruce. I was waiting for Bruce to pop in. Raptors going to stink for some time. I love Bruce.
But you know what?
I miss Bruce.
They're in Canada, so no one's going to notice.
I mean, there's some rabid Toronto Raptor fans somewhere in Canada.
They left when Kawhi left.
So on the Pacers side, you said it right. The Pacers are taking a huge risk bringing in Pascal Siakam, but they're not competing for a title. I think we can kind of scrap that idea right now. They're not title contenders, but I think this is really big for them because they're like a Halliburton, Siakam, Mathurin, Buddy Hield is still there. Buddy Hield could be another trade piece they could use to get another move. I feel like they're kind of setting up to make a run, maybe not just for this year, but kind of the next couple years to see if they can really compete in that Eastern Conference.
I agree. I think you know what they're competing for? They're competing with the Knicks and the Heat for that 4 to 5 seed right now. I think that's what it is. They know they're not the top 3, but they feel like the next 3, they're up there. They could definitely compete with the Knicks and the Miami Heat. So I think that's their ceiling for this season. And, it's a great additional piece they could build around later on because, Indiana is not a place where free agents go, but they do somehow always get all-stars down the road.
Although, let's give Indiana credit. They did put a NBA-sized court in the airport. So that was pretty crazy. That was pretty major. That was what I read on Twitter, X, whatever the hell. Someone's gonna pull their quad during a layover in Indiana. I'm like, that could happen. I think that could happen. Oh, you good? You hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
I got your picture. So with Indiana, if you could rank them right now, and I think you kind of did, but what's their seeding in the playoffs? You think going forward with this move, and maybe another move if they can squeeze something else out?
I think they're 5-6. No, I'm gonna say 6 because I think the Knicks are gonna rise to 4 or no lower than 5, and I think the Knicks pieces are a little bit better. First of all, have you noticed how the Knicks seem? I'm starting to think Tibbs has a lot of pull within the organization because it seems like if I was to put a Tibbs team in 2024, it's probably it's probably his rotation right now. Like I'm pretty sure outside of Grimes, he's happy with everybody he has on his rotation for the first time as a Knicks head coach.
I mean, and even Grimes, I feel like you don't know what Grimes is because, once again, I'm talking about the Tibbs rotation. If you fall out of favor, he pulls you. If you're a young player, you need the time to play. And I feel like Grimes, I think he's still trying to figure out who the hell he is and what he is as a basketball player. But you can't kind of feel around because Tibbs is quick with that hook. So I feel like that's the problem with Creighton Grimes. I feel like he's just not getting consistent playing time because Tibbs is like, oh, you fucked up? Okay, yeah, sit down now. I think that's the problem with that.
Yeah.
That's why Grimes is like this X factor. Mm-hmm.
But back to your question, I think if I gun to my head, Knicks 4, Miami 5, Indiana 6.
Yeah, listen, right now they're 7. They're a half game behind the Heat for number 6 in the Eastern Conference. And this translates into what we're going to do now. I wish I had like some Colin Cowherd transition magic voice, but I don't have that. So we've been gone about a month. And obviously, before Bruce says it at the end of the show, we will be back next Thursday and the following Thursday and the following Thursday. I think I have report card night. I got to teach. So I'll be here for one Thursday. But we've been gone for a month. And there's 5 things that we missed while we were on vacation. And the first thing is how last show we talked about our thoughts on the in-season tournament right after it ended, after the Lakers beat the Pacers. And what we missed was how bad the Lakers and the Pacers were after the in-season tournament. Is this going to be a problem going forward for teams that go deep into the in-season tournament next season and seasons after? Because it seems like they were burnt out. The Lakers still look burnt out. The Pacers kind of got back on their shit. Is this going to be every year thing now?
You know, it's funny because if we would have had this conversation like right after the in-season tournament, I'd have been like, it's a huge success. The ratings were good. People seem like they really enjoyed it. Maybe it's the Vegas thing. I don't know. But now that we have a whole month later to look at it, the Lakers look like they shot their load way too early. The Pacers at least made a trade. It's one of those things where like it might be better served having it towards later on in the season, or have it maybe scrap preseason and just have this tournament then.
Yeah, I feel like the Lakers did it for the right reasons. Like you saw LeBron after they won, he's like, it's for the younger guys, and they weren't in the bubble with us. They don't have the titles and blah 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 blah. But you said it correctly. I feel like they put all their eggs into that in-season tournament to get that banner, put that banner up there, and to get LeBron a championship, to say, hey, I'm winning the first in-season NBA tournament, so I should be up on that pantheon as well. The Pacers is a young team. I feel like they kind of showed out, and teams kind of figured out, okay, this is how they play, because you got a lot of tape on. You got a lot of tape on them in Vegas. I think you're right about the Lakers. I think they're done. I think they're burnt out. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I think that was my thing. I know you.
Are we sure? They have to make a trade.
Yeah, but what trade would you make though? And what are you trading?
They're gonna have to get off that last number one pick they still own.
I mean, you could trade. D'Angelo Russell's contract is decent where you couldn't move.
Nobody wants him.
That's the problem. You have to package that. You're not going to trade Reeves.
He's the only one that might hold value. Well, if you could move Reeves for like Levine or maybe DeRozan, you wouldn't do it.
But if you can't, only because you don't have the players to make that trade. That first round pick ain't really worth the whole bunch in the grand scheme of things. Like, even if they don't make the playoffs, they're gonna barely miss the playoffs. So you're not talking about a high lottery pick. You're talking about,
right.
12, 13.
Yeah.
You gonna trade Russell? Does anybody want Hachimura? Does anybody want Cam Reddish? Like, those are the guys you have to trade. You would have to put together a crazy package and hope that somebody just says, give me your garbage.
Right.
Just cash your crap. I don't care. Just give me what you got, and we'll give away Zach LaVine, because Zach LaVine's contract is ridiculous to begin with. He should not have gotten that contract he got with Chicago. So if Chicago's that hell bent on saying let's get rid of that contract, then you might have a shot of packaging all these role players and that first round draft pick, because it has to be in there in a deal. Other than that, there's nothing worth trading on that team.
Dude, yeah, you're right. But I'm looking at everything. I'm like, well, you know what? Their situation is better than Golden State, so maybe they do make it. I don't know if Golden State's making playoffs.
Well, here's the goal, because Golden State was interested in Siakam, but they didn't want to move off of Kuminga. They don't move off of Moody. The pieces they had to move, they want to hold on to, so the Warriors are left out. They like Kuminga. They think Kuminga's coming along. They love Moody. They think Moody's going to be a good point guard in the future, or a slashing guard, whatever, or two.
Right.
The problem becomes Golden State doesn't want to give up any of those assets that's worth giving up. That's going to be their downfall. And we'll talk about Golden State in a second, because that's also on my list. Second thing we missed. Toronto Raptors coach Darko Vadovic is awesome. I don't know if you've heard that rant after they lost to the Lakers.
That was a beautiful rant.
What made the rant even better was him in the Ivan Drago accent. That's what added to the rant. Because him ranting and raving in a Eastern European accent just made it even better for me. He's my new favorite coach in the NBA.
I think ownership, or at least the players, parlayed up some money together to pay that $27,000 fine.
This is BS. Completely BS. It was just great. One of the best rants I've ever seen. It's on par with Denny Green, Jim Mora, Allen Iverson. It's up there.
Oh yeah,
so
it's definitely up there with practice and playoffs. Absolutely.
Yes. We are, and Mike Singletary. People forget the Mike Singletary rant.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I missed that one. That was a good one. I saw that on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Third thing we missed: the Knicks actually fucking won on Christmas Day.
I had a good. You know what? I was surprised they won by that. They won because didn't they play like Christmas? Christmas was Monday, so they played Milwaukee either Saturday or Friday and got smoked. So I was hoping for a competitive game, let alone what actually won. So it was a good Christmas.
Listen, you and I both know, and as Knicks fans, we know the pain of Christmas Day because we know the Knicks are playing, and they're always the noon game, and it always starts. That's when I'm like, presents are opened, kids are all kind of tired out, and I'm like, I got some quiet. I'm watching the Knicks for a little bit, and they always disappoint me. And this year, I was like, damn it, I got the Knicks and I got the Giants later. So I was like, this could be a shitty Christmas. The Knicks won, and the Giants lost by less than 8, so I won my bet that night. So I felt really good that day. It was a good Christmas.
Should have caught that ball in the end zone, but that's neither here nor there.
That's another story. Another story.
But one quick thing about the Knicks.
Yep.
I think they're going to win 50 games. If they win tonight, it's 25. I think they're going to get 50 because they don't play Milwaukee. I think they don't play Milwaukee anymore. Thank God. Why they have 4 games against Milwaukee so early in the season? That doesn't make any sense.
And it was like, like 4 in like 2 weeks.
Right. It made no sense.
Crazy. Mm-hmm.
So I think 50's in play.
50. I'm writing that down. Hold on. January 18th. 50 games. Jason. Write that down.
I think it's in play.
Fourth thing we miss. Draymond Green is a crazy motherfucker. Draymond Green might be the nuttiest basketball player, but I think he's surpassed Dennis Rodman.
Antic-wise, Rodman was more cerebral. Like he did it to like not get attention, but like to really get in the players' heads. Now Draymond's doing it just to get both.
So Draymond was suspended. I think it was like 11 games.
He just came back. He just came back this week.
Yeah, Monday. But it was originally an indefinite suspension because he stomped on he stomped on people. Like, I'm sorry, if you choked out Rudy Gobert earlier this year, you stomped on the chest. Was it who was it? It wasn't Jokic. Was this a bonus?
I think it was a bonus. It wasn't Jokic. He wouldn't do that.
No. Sabonis was the playoffs last year.
There you go. Wait, that's what I'm thinking about.
Who did he jack up this year? It was Jokic. No, it was Gobert, and I gotta look this up because it's gonna bother me now. Well, point being, Warriors were 8-8 in the 16 games he was out. It is Draymond and his bullshit worth it? Nurkic was the player. I saw it. Is Draymond and his bullshit worth it for the Warriors going forward? They decided to extension. And he spoke to Adam Silver and said, I was going to retire. And Adam Silver talked him out of it. Does he have anything left that makes him a viable player now? Because I feel like his value's kind of diminished a lot in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I feel like it's not only diminished, but I think his game is kind of like, it's back to the big man game. The centers are dominating. He was the power forward that was intimidating. They can't move him. If they move him, who you getting? That's number one. And he's a generation behind. Like if he was a little younger or played a generation before, he'd have been all right. But I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to break up the whole band, actually. I would be like, Steph, this is what I'm doing. We're not competing for a championship. We got to somehow rebuild around you. But I don't think they're going to pull that trigger. Kind of why Bob Marks is on ESPN right now.
So here's my question. even with Clay playing better the last week or so, are we still at the point where, he's done? Or does his game really have to change because he's not Clay he's not who he used to be?
It's got to change a little bit. Like, he can't be just a spot up shooter. It's got to be a little bit more aggressive than that. But it all depends, like, how Steve Kerr and those guys how they want to do it. It's like they want to like try to like really build around Kuminga and the rest of those guys and have Clay, evolve his role a little bit. Maybe that might be the play, but I think they got to break up the band.
Clay is like AEW washed.
Wow.
First of all, I don't appreciate that, Bruce. AEW's ratings are high. They got 13,000 people for Sting's final match in March already. So
did he call Clay Thompson Christian? First of all, Christian's the hottest heel in wrestling. Christian's the hottest heel in wrestling right now.
Christian's having a career revival right now. So no, let's not do that. Christian's the best thing in wrestling right now. No matter, I don't care if you're TNA and you got Dolph Ziggler. Christian's the best thing going right now. I'm just saying. Fifth and final thing we missed while we were gone. Is Detroit the worst NBA team in NBA history? Because I think we're at that point.
I'm gonna say no. They compete. They went in there like Randy Orton trying to beat the Undertaker streak in Boston. They played them hard. Like they almost snapped the streak, and they beat Washington. I say Washington's the worst team in the league. That's my view.
I was at the Pinstripe Bowl, and I was on my way home. The Pistons Celtics game, and I'm on the train like they're gonna beat Boston, and they're up by 20 at halftime. I'm like, oh, okay, let's just break the streak, and then they lose in overtime. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, come on, you had Boston done, and you still blew it. The Wizards, yes, I'm not sure if you listen to Joe House on Bill Simmons' podcast, and he's like a huge Washington fan. He's like, I've never had no faith in my team than I do right now. It's like Jordan Poole plays on defense and thinks he's like the best player in the world.
That's a fact.
Denny might be the worst draft pick in the last 10 years. I tried to play with them in NBA 2K, and it was miserable. It was the most miserable hour I played, and I was like, "This is rough. This is tough. I can't do this." So I agree with you. Bruce also says it in the chat, Wizards are the worst NBA team. I'm going there. Bruce made a good point actually. And what do you think about this? Warriors going after Kuzma.
Yeah, that makes sense. You won't have to. You probably got to give up the draft capital. Do they have any draft capital?
The Warriors. I'll look that up. I'm pretty sure they'll have to give up one of the two. That's a Kuminga or Moody deal. You can't not get better and not give up one of those two guys or both. I think they're trying to figure it out.
They can't give up both. They can't do that.
I think they're trying to kind of work the system, and I'm like, it ain't working. It ain't happening. Moving to the Knicks, and of course, the Knicks controversy. Bruce mentioned it. We'll have a new owner soon. Knicks owner James Dolan named a lawsuit filed in California alleging that he sexually assaulted and trafficked a masseuse, i.e. Deshaun Watson. The lawsuit was filed on January 16th and claims that in November 2013, Dolan sexually assaulted the plaintiff while his band was on tour with the Eagles. First of all, you suck. Your band sucks. In that instance, the lawsuit alleges that while the masseuse was massaging Dolan, the Knicks team owner was extremely assertive and pressured the defendant into unwanted sexual intercourse with him, despite her being adamant that she did not want to engage in any sexual activity with him. Following the incident, Dolan repeatedly made sexual advances towards the masseuse. Listen, I think back to Isaiah Thomas and Anuka Brown Sanders when that happened. How is this going to play out? Because I think this is a big deal. I think, if anything, Adam Silver don't play with things like this. How's he going to play off James Dolan?
First of all, So let's say he gets convicted and everything. Does this mean he has to sell the Rangers as well?
I mean, I don't care because I feel like he doesn't bother with the Rangers. I'm a Rangers fan. I feel like he never really touches the Rangers. And I'm thankful as a Ranger fan, you see behind me, right here somewhere. I'm thankful for that. So he can keep ownership of the Rangers. I just want him to lose ownership of the Knicks. Because he's the problem with the Knicks. So get rid of the Knicks.
I don't know. Ironically, it's crazy that the band part's going to be the part that takes him down. But I think that's the funny part. Like we always like, damn it, can he just go away? But it's going to be the band that got him down. I think if things play out the way he might be forced to sell. I think he'll find a way where he keeps ownership of the Garden. But I think he might find a way that he might have to sell the Knicks, or maybe the Rangers as well.
Which scares you because you look at the last few people who purchased NBA teams. You look at Matt Ishbia in Phoenix. You look at the wife of Adelson in Vegas. They just brought the majority of Dallas. You have Ballmer in LA with the Clippers' new arena is going to be ridiculous. Like I gotta check you and I might have to go out there and check it out personally.
Absolutely.
Because I'm very curious about that arena. I'm just scared of who could possibly buy the team. A-Rod in Minnesota. Thanks, Bruce. I'm curious, afraid of who could buy the Knicks because
who's going to take a lot of money. If the Knicks go on sale, there's only one person who's going to buy the Knicks. You know who it is.
Oh, Jesus, who?
2 people. And you probably hate both of them.
Tell me.
Elon and Jeff.
Elon who?
Elon or Jeff?
Bezos?
Yeah.
I would take Bezos over Musk.
It's definitely going to be somebody with a massive ego and a lot of money to blow. Damn it, it might be Ballmer. Ballmer might say, you know what, I might do this bi-coastal thing. I own 2 teams. That's the kind of money it would take to
and I would love Steve Ballmer. If Steve Ballmer was my owner, I would love it because it's that.
Oh, wait a minute.
Excitement.
Would Cohen try to own 2 teams in New York? You got the money for it.
As I rock my. Let's wait until September to answer this question because I'm no fan of what we've done in off season. So let's wait till September to make that decision if I would approve of Steve Cohen on the Knicks right now. No, I think Adam Silver's definitely keeping his eye on this because I feel like even look at Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling wasn't convicted of a crime, but he was still forced to give the Clippers up. The Phoenix owner, the cheapest guy in the world, Robert Sarver, he wasn't really convicted, but there's a report and there was no crime, but he was just a racist prick. He lost the team. So they're really fast with this to say, yes, it's about the shield. The NFL talks about their shield a lot. The NBA is all about the shield, and Silver's about that. David Stern would have let this shit ride in the 80s. I think we're in a different situation where someone's like, no, this ain't the Wild West. So I could definitely see Silver going, listen, you need to figure this out and let this go. But I would love for him to lose that team. God, I would love to see him lose that team. Oh God, jeez.
It kind of feels like they finally got OJ. That's what it feels like here.
They finally got OJ. Which, listen, I follow OJ on X, and it brings a smile on my day seeing him every day. Just one, giving some football picks, giving some fantasy picks. Talking about murder trials, it just soothes my heart to see OJ doing so well for himself today. And just playing golf every single day.
Just playing golf, talking shit to Cameron. It's a beautiful thing. He's really rehabilitated his image. That's something Dolan cannot do. Dolan can never do that in New York.
Hey, Twitter world, it's yours truly. I'm like, okay, I'm all in. I'm all in. What do you got to say today, OJ? What do you got to say today? So we have another batch of fan NBA All-Star voting. Western Conference, you have leading the way in the front court. You have LeBron, Jokic, and Durant. In the guards, you have Doncic, Curry, and SGA from OKC, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. That's the top three guards. In the East, you have Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum. And for the guards, Tyrese Halliburton leading the fan vote 2.7, Trae Young 1.8, and then Lillard 1.7. I want to bring this whole thing up because, yeah, I don't get me started on that. But meanwhile, Trae Young is second, Brunson sixth in fan voting.
It's the fans; they don't know better. They just want to get their guys in there.
No, I mean, if you look at kind of the return so far, besides Trae Young, because I think Trae Young, the Trae Young train is over now. It's done. He brings nothing to the table. Just 35-foot jumpers that sometimes go in, sometimes don't go, sometimes go in, don't go in, whatever.
Right.
Brunson being sixth, Maxey being fifth, even someone like a Derek White being seventh from Boston. I feel like it's a popularity contest, like we say all the time. But I'm sorry. Sure. Kyrie Irving fifth, but Anthony Edwards sixth, De'Aaron Fox seven, John Morant should be anywhere near this list. Austin Reeves 10th. I would bring Austin Reeves up a little bit from 10.
10, yeah.
In a perfect world, would you get rid of fan voting?
No, because it makes. Yeah, I was about to get real political here. It makes them feel like their votes really matter. So let them vote. Let them vote. They'll get their starters, and that's it. It counts in no other way. Like once the starters are in, that's it. After that, it's up to the coaches and the media. That's as far as a fan vote will go. We're gonna treat this like a little like politics. That's all.
Your vote matters when it really doesn't, because New York is a blue state no matter what.
Exactly.
So your vote does matter though.
There you go.
The other thing that happened while we were gone, the Clippers re-signed Kawhi to a new contract for another 3 years. And I had questions about this because honestly, $153 million over 3 years for someone who's playing well. We'll get to the Clippers in a second, how well they're playing, and I will look like just the biggest piece of shit for doubting that the trade would have fought hard and would work. Would you have been so quick to give him that extension now and not wait a little longer? Because Kawhi will have a good month and then he'll fall apart the last 2 months.
I think two things. I think one, they want to keep him. They want to have that name on the marquee when they open the new arena the end of the year. They want to have that marquee name there. And two, I think he's played enough. He hasn't really missed too much time. I think as him being the anchor to the team, you had to get it done right away. So it made sense. I'm surprised that it accumulated so quickly. Like, okay, we're done. We signed this extension, and everything's going according to plan. But I think the Clippers, I'm not gonna say they're a little fool's gold. I just think they're maybe the third, fourth best team in the West. I don't know how it's gonna play on the playoffs, but I kind of like the direction they're going. I think they need another big man, another big piece. They're not with. They're not the Clippers. Dare I say they might make it to the conference final, but I can't see them win the chip. If they play Boston if they made it to the finals, they play Boston. I think Boston smokes them because they have no size, and they need to find a way to get size between now and the playoff deadline.
All right, Bruce. I will. If the Clippers win the championship, I will give you 30 minutes on the show to spew all the Liberty hate you got in your heart, all the AEW hate in your heart, all the Phoenix Mercury hate you got in your heart. I'll give you a half hour, Bruce Unplugged.
Who hates the Mercury?
He hates the Mercury too.
Diana Taurasi
Liberty Mercury Knicks. Liberty Mercury Knicks. Those are Bruce. Those are Bruce's. Like, I hate the ball. I hate the ball. But the Clippers, listen, 8-2 in their last 10 games. Harden looks good. Kawhi's healthy. Paul George is playing well. Russell Westbrook's playing his role really well off the bench. They lost Zubac for a couple weeks, so I think that might affect a little bit because they don't have a lot of size to begin with, and that's their only real big man they have. They're fourth in the West. You said they're the third, fourth best team. So you got right now in the West, you got Minnesota, OKC, Denver, Clippers, Pelicans, Kings, your top six. Of those six, do you see any of those dropping out, or do you think that's your six? That's going to be your top six going into the playoffs, even though Dallas is kind of really close to that sixth spot as well.
I think Dallas overtakes New Orleans. And I think if any of those six you name, I think New Orleans is the one. Zion's a bad injury away from the round their season. So I'm going to say I think Dallas cracks the six, but those are pretty much your seven right there.
And what are your thoughts on Phoenix? Because I have no read on the Suns whatsoever right now.
See, the Clippers are where I thought the Suns would have been. I thought somehow they would have found a way to make him, Beal, Durant, and Booker work, but it's just not working. They have no size. Those guys have no chemistry. I mean, I thought when he was in Brooklyn, he was moody. He seems even more moody out there. So I think the Suns are a bad experiment. It's gonna go poof in the first round.
So you talked about Durant and Brooklyn. I want to talk about Brooklyn. Where you at? 16-24, 1-9 in their last 10, losing their 4 in a row. Listen, like I said, my side hustle is the Yes Network. I work for them, so I watch a lot of Nets basketball. I don't know what this team is. Still, I watch this team pretty regularly.
They don't know. They don't know what this team is.
You? Yeah, it's like, what are you? Who are you? What are you trying to accomplish? Mikal Bridges had the worst stretch of games I've seen in a while. There were 4 or 5 games where he just could not hit a shot. Dinwiddie's trying to be less shooty, but terrible word I could say. But he still has it. Cam Johnson's been a bright spot. Nick Claxton's got hurt a little bit. Now, Ben Simmons has missed 33 games, so he's probably not coming. What's the future for this team? Because you think about it, they don't have a first round pick this year. So where do they go after you re-sign Cam Johnson? You got to back up the Brinks truck from Mikal Bridges, I would assume. Where do you go now?
That's a very tough enigma to figure out. I think they're stuck where they're at. There's no help in terms of draft capital. I think they might have to do what they did the last time. They have to take on some bad contracts. They should be on, as much as it pains them, they should be on the phone with the Knicks and be like, "Yo, we'll give us Evan Fournier, maybe send them Dinwiddie, send the Knicks Dinwiddie or something." I think they need to do something. They need to shake up the roster a little bit, take on some bad contracts. Maybe they might holler at the Lakers, go get Russell back. But these are the things the Nets need to do because they're just kind of screwed for a while.
It's funny you said that. I was playing NBA 2K the other night. I actually made that trade you said.
Which one? Spencer?
I traded no. I traded Evan Fournier to the Nets. I traded Evan Fournier and one of my 3 first-round draft picks to Brooklyn for Dorian Finney-Smith, Tariq Whitehead, and their 2028 first-round draft pick. So I actually made a similar trade. And it worked because there's no backup point power forward for the Knicks at all. Who knew? So that's a possible trade too. No, I mean, listen, you have Cam Johnson, you have Bridges. Cam Thomas had a great start. He's fallen off badly. Nick Claxton is. And here's why we don't talk shit about owners on this show. We don't talk shit about we just got knocked out. That was
it happens.
Joe. I think this is the start of like how long have we doing this show? Like 7 years, 8 years?
I was like, damn, has it been that long? Yeah, it's been that long. Wow.
Yeah, because it's Double G. That has never happened, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be on just audio. I've never just been kicked out of any platform we've ever been on. So that was odd.
That was Dolan. That was Dolan.
Shut him down. Shut him down and play some of my music for his interlude. I do want to college though, because we got 15 minutes left. Actually, I want to go to WNBA real quick because they actually changed something that I will say that was an AEW segment. Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
WNBA changed the Commissioner's Cup to be more compact in an effort to better suit its schedule and increase fan engagement. The Commissioner's Cup can be shorter. So they're doing 10 games, they're doing 5 games. Each team plays each team in the conference once. All cup games will be played in a 2-week period. And then you have the finals on June 25th. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because I feel like the Commissioner's Cup added, kind of like the in-season tournament for the NBA, it kind of added something to the season. And I think them shortening it, which makes sense, especially, and they have the Olympic break this year because the Olympics are happening this year.
That's probably why they shortened it.
Is it just that's all I was thinking. Is it just because of the Olympics, or do you think they let's shorten this up a little bit? Because it did seem like you kind of forgot where the Commissioner's Cup started, ended, where it was, who was playing who. Mm-hmm. Was this Commissioner's Cup game, whatever?
I'm gonna say it's definitely because of the Olympics, because they got the best result last year. They had the 2 best teams playing for the cup, and in my opinion, it might have hurt the Liberties because they played the Aces that many times, so the Aces kind of figured them out. But I think it's only because of the Olympic break. That's why it's 5. But I prefer the regular 10, in my opinion.
See, we saw what Bruce's hate. They saw the Liberty won and sucked in the final, so they had to change it. Listen, you change it for the super team, okay? What you need to do is the team to win in the end. Okay, that's the plan here. So we talk about the Olympic break. There's a lot of questions too about the players that are supposed to be drafted in this year's WNBA draft, because a lot of them have COVID years that they can use. Caitlin Clark, which I thought was a foregone conclusion, she was coming out. She has a year eligibility left. Paige Becker said she might stay an extra year at UConn because she missed so much time. How big could this be if these players don't actually go to the WNBA, and that draft that we thought was going to be so great might not be as good?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a bad look if they stay one more year, especially for Caitlin. Like, she's like exactly what Indiana's always wanted, a great white hope. She's perfect for them. She's perfect for that city. She's perfect for that. She's everything that they would want over there. So that lets me know that this NIL money is really good for women's sports if they're willing to stay another year.
I think that's the thing. I feel like if you're Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, you're gonna make more do NILs than you actually making in the WNBA. So why not say another year? Do what Matt Leinart did when he said his senior year. I think Matt Leinart took ballroom dancing, and that was it. Like, see another year, get the NIL money. WNBA money does suck, Bruce. I agree with you. It's gotten better. Are they going to be making millions? Never. I wish they would, but they're never going to make the amount of money that other NBA players are going to make. But it has gotten better. Now, NIL money is a different story. Florida State got in trouble because they got involved in NIL stuff when schools aren't supposed to. So the schools started to realize that, hey, we might have to kind of be, front facing when it comes to this now, because we got to get more involved, because it's the Wild West still. The NCAA is still like, hey, you guys do what you want to do. We're going to see this fail because we should be paying these guys anyway.
Real quick about NIL, with college football coming back out this summer, do we see college basketball game in down the line because the money. First of all, whoever's on the cover, my goodness, they're going to get paid.
No, only because I feel like college basketball games never really sold. College football sold because you could always export draft classes to Madden. That was always the
thing. Mm-hmm.
College basketball, I know 2K College Hoops 2K8 was the one with Greg Oden on the cover. That was the last really good college basketball game. EA did theirs, and it was trash. You know, they had like different broadcasting teams, which is kind of cool. 2K8 is still, to me, top 5 sports game of all time. I was talking to my nephew about this. I think NCAA football, if they just bring the same game back that they just did like years ago,
I think that's what they're going to
spruce
do.
it up. Mm-hmm. And I read something before we got on. They're going to have the transfer portal in the game. I'm like, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. But college basketball just never sold. No one really cared about college basketball games. I think Ed O'Bannon cared because he saw himself there, and he's the godfather of the NIL deal, really, if you think about it.
And it's probably worse now because it's such a one and done, and there's no distinguished face of college basketball right now.
Yeah,
like
I'm 4 years.
Like, is UConn really going to repeat? Are we heading down that road? It looks like it.
Well, I'm glad you said that because transitioning into UConn in the Big East, I put in our preview, I think, and I've seen Seton Hall play, I think Seton Hall might be the most dangerous team in the country. They've beaten 3 ranked teams. Sheen Holloway's got to see him playing hard. I think they're playing his style. I think he got players. He got players kind of like he had at St. Peter's, like just dogs. He got dogs. And guys, no one's going to drop 35 on that team. Kadari Richmond could, but he won't. But he got guys that play defense, play hard, make baskets when they need it. The game against UConn, the game against Butler, those are all games where you needed big shots hit, and they got them. I think in the Big East right now, they're tied for UConn for the top spot in the Big East. They beat UConn, so they already showed that they could beat UConn. Besides maybe Villanova, they beat St. John's the other night, but Patino was out because he had COVID, so I'm kind of putting an asterisk next to that because coach wasn't there. Besides UConn, maybe Villanova, Marquette is struggling. I think the Big East is wide open for Seton Hall right now.
It's going to we'll see down the stretch, but you're right. I think you're absolutely right. That conference play is going to be crucial for them.
Bruce is saying UNC is going to win it all. I think he's full of it. I don't think that's going to happen. Listen, I think the ACC. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I think it's a down year. I think it's a down year for the ACC.
Thank you. I was about to say that. I don't see the ACC at the same level as it used to be. You have NC. You have UNC. I think Duke is not as good as everyone think it is. I think NC State is one of those teams that could sneak in and get a 3 or 4 seed in tournament. Syracuse is actually playing really well, and it's the first year of Autry as coach, and I think it's a breath of fresh air because they're not playing that bullshit matchup zone. They're playing like full court man-to-man defense and playing hard. And whiny Boeheim ain't there right now. But besides that, Pitt's having a down year. Clemson's kind of nowhere to be found. I think it's the ACC just doesn't seem.
Florida State looking real suspect. Yeah, you're right. It's a down year for the whole conference.
Yeah, Georgia Tech has Damon Stoudemire, so he's going to need 2 years to kind of figure out what he has and get his team in there. I think the Big Ten might be up there. The SEC surprisingly is having a really good start, although Stackhouse's Vanderbilt team still sucks. I don't know how Jerry Stackhouse still got a job. Calipari won his 400th game as Kentucky coach. You suck. I think the ACC is kind of falling to the wayside, and I think we're seeing those, Coach K, Roy Williams, the older coaches leaving. I think
it's a transition. It's a transition. Yeah,
and they're trying to figure it out. I'm starting to pay attention. I think next week we'll have a more in-depth college basketball conversation. Because
same here. I'm same here. I started maybe like 2 weeks ago.
I love how you just ignore college basketball for 2 months.
You have to. They cram college football down our throats, and then I told you I don't really pay attention to college basketball until there's conference play. That's when I'm all in for conference play.
I mean, you don't watch the Disney Wild Water Sports Classic?
I do watch the Maui Classic, and every time they do Coach K, not Coach K, what's his name? Dick Vitale. Jimmy V stuff. Yeah. Every time they do Jimmy V and Maui Classic, I'm there for those.
Not the random Diamond Airlines Hawaii Classic. I'm like, the what?
No. That's why that's why. Mm-mm.
And the game started like 11:30 at night. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm not saying
exactly.
Plus, conference play you get built. I watch Thursday. Like, Thursday night is the perfect night to watch. I mean, we have one season left. Bill Walton doing Pac-12 after dark on Thursday nights is the greatest television of my week because he doesn't know the players, doesn't really know the teams, but he just tells stories about him just getting high at UCLA for 2-3 years.
Speaking about over there, I have yet to see Bronny James play. Like, I have not watched any USC highlights or anything.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good game the other night. I think he's still coming off the bench. I don't see the appeal. I don't think he's gonna be this lottery pick that everyone thinks he's gonna be. I don't think, he has an ailment. He has a heart ailment, so that adds to this whole thing. Like, is a team in a draft during a combine and be like, well, you could draft Bronny 9, but
someone's going to draft him. Like, someone's going to draft him and think Bron still wants to play with his son. Guarantee. He won't be a lottery pick, but he'll be a top team. He'll be in the teens.
It's like Sofia Coppola directed movies because her father made Apocalypse Now, essentially, in the Godfather. Hey. Real quick, because Bruce mentioned it. It's been a month. I'm finally watching AEW weekly now. Okay. The Hook Samoa Joe match, I think that was a good match because it made Hook, even though he lost. Hook like had some heart. I want your honest opinion. Is Roman Reigns losing his title at Mania? Because I just have the suspicion that they're like, let's stretch this out a little longer.
I think that he's not losing the title. I think they want him to beat Hogan's record.
Which is next year.
Oh,
God. But here's my thing. Like, where else do you go with him? Where's the next stop with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline? Because I feel like it's kind of jumped the shark already now.
The problem, it's either two things they got to do. Get some more Samoans involved. Somehow, if I was booking WrestleMania, I'm having Cody lose to Roman, and I'm reuniting the Usos. And we're going to start working our way that way. Like, getting it all the family back, to get the band together. Hell, get the women involved. If everything I'm hearing, Naomi's coming back, get her involved. You got to expand this to NWO territory. Like, it's got to be domination on both sides. That's the only way to evolve the story one more year. I don't think they can do it, but that's what I would do.
Or would you? I had this thought the other night because I was watching Cody, and I had a thought. Would you say, okay, this is what we're gonna do? Let's get the Usos back together, bring the Bloodline back, get Trinity or Naomi, whatever you want to call her, back together.
Mm-hmm.
Cody loses his shit, and Cody gets dark. Think of Hogan when he went to the dark side in WCW when he wore black.
Mm-hmm.
Cody joins forces with AJ and the Good Brothers and do like a Bullet Club thing. And it's Bullet Club versus Bloodline.
I can see that. First of all, Trips loves gang warfare. By the way,
I know he does.
Next thing out of wrestling,
he does.
Everybody's in a clique.
Our truth is on the Judgment Day. I'm like, when the hell that happened?
He's hilarious.
And his shirt, the Judgment Day shirt with the tape of R-Truth is now beating CM Punk in merchandise. I'm like, what is that? I don't watch Raw like that. I'm like, I don't know how he got here, but I'm intrigued. Like, how did this happen?
And that's the golden gift to R-Truth.
Yeah, and Bruce is talking shit about AEW. Listen, AEW's being 800, 900,000 viewers. Warner Brothers is happy with it. They're going to re-sign Warner Brothers. The whole news of Warner Brothers talking to Raw ain't happening. I think what they just I think Raw's going to Amazon. I think so too. I think they're going streaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think AEW I think after the whole Punk thing, they have to reset.
Yeah.
I think this is them resetting and saying, okay, what do we want to be? What also helps AEW is now that Khan's actually listening to other people, and he's not just booking by himself. Like he has Daniel Bryanson help, Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson helping him now. He has other guys helping him book, give him ideas. You can't tell me that Edge and Christian and Samoa Joe aren't like, hey, let's try this. He's not listening to the Young Bucks. He's not listening to Kenny Omega. He's not listening to Chris Jericho. He's like, okay, we're done with that. I want to talk to you. Yeah, Bryan Danielson, what do you think? I think that's what's going to help them this year. Because I think now he's like, I need help, one. And two, I got MJF coming back because he resigned. I don't care what you say. He resigned.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
You get that started. You get the Adam Cole thing started. And now you have something for months. You get the title on Swerve. I feel like this thing's already in place that I think they figured out, like, let's do this now. So I'm completely confident in AEW going forward this year.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. They just got to ride the ship. You know, they're fine. I think the only person you're probably going to lose down the line is probably Andrade. I think he's heading back home.
Good.
And that's about it. I definitely think Swerve is destined for the title soon. That was a nice slow burn that they had going on with him. They got to figure out what they're doing with the Young Bucks though. Like I don't not like this. I don't like any of them. Like the old heads. I feel like they really need to push the youths. They're doing a good job doing that, but that's what they got to do.
Well, I think the Young Bucks going heel is going to help them because I feel like they weren't really ever liked. I think them going like we're EVPs, we're in charge. I think that's going to be good. I think Omega coming back is going to help because I think Omega's just beat the hell. He's beat the hell up. And now he's got diverticulitis, which he's going to be out for who knows how long. So I'm gonna judge them in June. I'm gonna give them 6 months this year and see where they go. The Swerve thing, you can't take the belt off Joe yet, but Swerve is next in line.
Speaking of Jim Dolan, who goes down first, Dolan or Jericho?
Dolan. Okay. Dolan's out. Oh, okay, Bruce. Andrade didn't do anything. Like Andrade's not a big name. Like who cares about Andrade? Like I care more about Rush than Andrade at this point in time.
I don't know what the WWE is going to do with him because we have the LWO versus Santos new Mexican cartel. It's really gang warfare in WWE. I love it. I'm here for it. Everybody's in the gang.
LWO versus LWO. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Cool. It's like the LWO red and black all over again. Let's get that done. Jay, as always, great show. Good to be back.
Likewise.
So, Bruce, this is strictly for Bruce now. Thursdays, 8 p.m. every week. We'll be back. I'm dead up now. I'm looking at the camera. I'm dead serious. Thursdays, 8 p.m. We'll be back. The podcast network is going to keep going. Thomas is back in Ireland temporarily, but we'll still do shows probably on. You can see our faces talking about comedy. So that'll be happening. A lot more stuff happening. So we'll keep you posted. For Jason, I'm Kahlil. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back next Thursday, Bruce. See you next week. Peace.